Excuse me, good people.
And bad people.
And bad people.
And
It's your
bad
man, Rob Sergio Mack with the Three Keys podcast. And today I have a very, very special guest. He is a Nashville, Middle Tennessee legend when it comes to art and just generally being a man to know. From a long line of royalty. Your mother was such a giant when it came to not just the arts, but just being a very regal woman.
Yeah.
So, with no further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Lamar Wilson.
Thank you, and I appreciate that because I do consider myself a bit of a legend. I grew up in Bartow.
Oh, okay.
When Bartow was the Gold Coast.
Yes, sir.
My neighbors were Matthew Walker, Robert Anderson, John Chrisman, Frank Perry, Jack Tarleton. These are all my Harry people. Hanson, A.P. Johnson, Ike Miller, who became president of Bennett. Just a lot of great people. Rutherford Atkins, who was a Tuskegee Airman and also president of Fisk University. And, we know it's important for young men to be around father figures.
Yes.
So I had a lot of role models growing up that I didn't really realize until later on when I got to be a man. I could think about how these men carried themselves, particularly during the Civil Rights era. Nashville was the first city in the South to have boycotts, to have protests, to have sit-ins. Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, they all came afterwards. So North Nashville, 37208, coming back to that area was very important for me because I always considered ground zero. Okay, this is John T. Riddle. It's titled Above, or Clubs is Trumps. What John has done is he created a mattress. You see the stripes in the background is a mattress, which shows the ways that people are sleeping. So Ace of Spades is false justice of American Justice Society. In the Kings, we have the prisons where most of our good brothers are. We have the Queens out on the street corner. We have the Jacks out here hustling. We're partying. We have old cars. We're drinking. We have low wages, jobs. We're not taking care of the elderly. Poor diet, games, depression, and the do-rag guy. And in the game of clubs, the two of clubs is a cut card. So it goes Misdeal, Reshuffle the Cards, Man, by Atlanta artist John Riddle, who passed away about 20 years ago. 37208 was the place to be in America. Everyone who worked at Fisk, Meharry, and TSU worked and lived in that neighborhood. It was one of the most promising neighborhoods in America.
For the good people out there that are unfamiliar with how prominent 37208 was, it was almost like a version of Black Wall Street.
It was.
And a group of people decided to run an interstate through it. And it dismantled 37208.
For me to come back here later and see Airbnbs and plight, and then hear about the incarceration rate being number one in the country, the sickness, most ill black people, 37208, it breaks my heart. And so I decided to do whatever little bit I could do to just have groups of people to get together and talk about black faces in black spaces. So I'm kind of like, I call a rainmaker. I come in and make it happen, and I step away. I'll be 72 this year, and I'm not trying to do a whole lot, but I do want to do something. I do want to continue to be important and continue to be a change maker. With that said, I'm very happy to be in 37208, as I call ground zero for me growing up, and coming back 40 years later as a man, and now as a senior, as the elder OG, whatever you want to call it. But I'm always there for people, and when someone calls me and asks me to come speak to a group of kids, I always say yes.
Before we get out of here, I really like to thank you for taking the time to stop by and bless us with all of the information and more than that, just the experience. I think it's very important to receive the baton when it's passed, and you're a person that's passing out batons. And I encourage more people in your generation to do so, and I encourage people younger than you to receive these batons. And from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Wilson, I'd like to tell you, I love you.
Love you too, man.
Ain't shit you can do about it.
That's all good.